I know you won't believe me, and maybe it's better that you don't. Maybe it's better if I forget all of this. But I remember everything, and I'll never forget. And I don't know what's worse, knowing I'm not crazy, or knowing that something from all of this still lurks in the shadows. Even today, after all these years, I'm not sure if it was real, or just a bad dream. It happened long ago. I went to an old farm. Everything seemed like a fairy tale at first, except for one detail. The farm was old, forgotten, as if time had stopped many years ago. The house was crumbling, the windows covered with layers of dust and cobwebs, and around it, only a dead field, overgrown with wild grass. But amidst all that decay, there was one place on the farm that immediately caught my attention. In the middle of the field, there stood a scarecrow. It wasn't just any scarecrow. No. This one was alive. Its eyes, faded and black, like holes in the earth. Its body was half rotted, with long arms that moved in the wind. But what terrified me the most wasn't its eyes. It was the fact that I couldn't believe it never moved. It had been there, in the same position, for years. And the ravens, they were all around it. At first, just one, then two. But soon they began to fly in circles. They flew around the scarecrow, constantly, watching me. They watched me with those black eyes, and it seemed like they were following me without stopping. Pause. At first, I didn't think it was anything frightening. Maybe it was just an old story. But as I got closer, something changed. The wind stopped. A complete silence descended on the farm. The crickets stopped chirping. The sound of the ravens, which had been just background noise at first, became unbearable. It was as if they were getting closer, as if they were waiting for something. Then, the scarecrow turned its head. I had never seen anything like it. The winds didn't move. The ravens didn't move. But the scarecrow, its head turned towards me. A sound appeared. It felt like something was tapping in my head. Footsteps, heavy footsteps, and something else. Something from the darkness. In that moment, I realized I wasn't alone. I started running. I found the barn, went inside, and slammed the door shut. But the silence was even worse. Inside the barn, everything was dusty. Then, I heard something. Creaking. The sound of old wood. It sounded like something was entering the barn, like someone had crossed the threshold. At that moment, I knew something had entered. It was the scarecrow. It stood in front of the barn. I began to panic. I tried to calm myself, but there was no chance. The scarecrow was at the door, and the ravens. Now they were flying inside the barn, forming a circle around me. At that moment, I didn't know if this was real. My heart was in my throat. There was too much silence, too much darkness. Everything was closing in on me. There was no escape. The scarecrow was there, and the ravens were flying. Then they stopped, all in the same spot, all facing me. No wind, no light, nothing. Just me and their silence. I started running, not knowing where. I just wanted to get away. I ran through the fog, through the dark night, and all the sounds disappeared, as if everything had fallen into silence. I couldn't even hear my own footsteps, just emptiness. But then, in that silence, suddenly, I heard something. Something close. Something that shouldn't have been there. James. The voice was quiet, almost a whisper, but so real. My name. I realized no one could be there. There was nothing behind me, only the wind that had stopped. But the voice, it was real. It was mine. In that moment, everything calmed down. The silence descended again. The ravens were gone. The scarecrow was gone. There was no trace, no sound, as if I had only been dreaming. I went back. Everything was the same. Old. Forgotten. The silence that reigned over it was perfect again, as if nothing had ever happened. But I know. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And I know I wasn't alone.